Hello there guys, Bilbo10,000 here, bringing you a quick pre-video message, and if you'd like to support the channel, make sure to leave a like, comment, or subscribe, and share this video with your friends. And make sure to check out the Game Show Central Discord channel down in the description, where you can hang out with me and my friends. Enjoy the video! Hello there everybody, Bilbo10,000 here, bringing you another episode of 999, and today, the hallway that left the cargo room headed straight toward the stern was where we left off, and I'm pretty sure that given this is the door 6 group, we're about to find door 9 if we're going by the past endings we've found. So let's find out what happens right now.
A long hallway, huh?
Yep.
Let's check it out.
Let's go. Junpei and the other three proceeded down it silently. Some distance along it, a large room opened up on the left-hand side. It looked familiar. An iron grate covered each of the elevators. Junpei and his companions drew to a stop and began to discuss what their next move should be.
We've seen this elevator before.
The other side.
We got off the one on the left just a little while ago.
Then we went through the number 6 door, and that took us to the engine room.
Yes, and after that we passed through the cargo room.
And made our way to the side on the right.
And now we're back here.
In other words, we made a loop. We're back where we started.
Junpei approached the elevator.
We needed a card to get to this point.
I don't see a card reader here.
Perhaps we aren't able to activate it from this location.
Why don't you just try pushing the button?
Yeah.
Gently, he pushed the triangular button on the wall. A moment passed. There we go. That's the thing though, we haven't found any specific keys or keycards or whatever, which is why we've got to go find the number 9 room.
It works.
Huh. The elevator door opened and then eventually shut again.
I think so.
Pushing the button had apparently restored power to the elevator.
Good. Now we can go back if we need to.
What do we do? Should we return to C deck?
No, this hallway keeps going. Even if we do end up going back, I think we should see what's down there first.
I agree. Let's go.
Let's see. Their decision made, Junpei and his companions left the elevators behind and continued down the hallway. Sometime later,
Looks like it ends here.
Santa, who had been walking several paces in front of the rest, suddenly stopped.
Only one door.
They searched around just in case.
There isn't anything else. It's the only way to go.
Here we go. It was the door or nothing.
All right, let's open it.
Junpei took a deep breath, readied himself, then grabbed the doorknob and pulled the door open. Oh man, they're about to find the number 9 door. He paused for a moment, then stepped through into the room. And there he saw the number that hung over their heads since they'd woken up. 9.
The 9 door.
Like the numbers on every other door, this one too was a rough shape made of red paint. Its door was set into the back of the wall of the room. Junpei leapt towards it with a sudden burst of hopeful energy. It was a large double door, heavy and full of solemn importance. He grabbed the door handle and shook.
Of course it wouldn't be that easy.
The red sat on the wall next to the door. Displayed on it...
Vacant.
Yep.
Huh. We finally found it.
Junpei felt himself overwhelmed by a torrent of emotion. At last they'd found the exit, but cold gripped his heart, and he knew all too well why. As he stood frozen, unsure of what to think or feel...
Jumpy!
Huh?
Look! Behind you!
Oh, it's the other door. And couldn't believe what he saw.
What? A 9 door. There's another one.
2 9 doors.
Why?
Junpei's voice was barely audible, even to himself. He stumbled toward the second door as if somehow compelled. It was a small single door. It sat in the starboard corner of the room on the same wall as the door they'd entered from, but in the opposite corner.
It's 9, no matter how you look at it. The red is there too. So this is a real one?
Junpei shook the door handle pointlessly and muttered to himself, it's probably just so 2 groups can escape.
Why? Why the hell are there 2 doors?
It was Santa who answered.
There were always 2 doors. I mean, if you think about it, Zero never actually said there was only 1 door with a 9 on it.
Yeah.
It is hidden, but an X seek a way out.
Of course, we just assumed that there was only
But
1.
now we know there are 2.
After all, why would there be more than 1?
Oh, man. We fell for
We
it.
really did.
There are 2 doors. That means that all 9 people who had met at the central staircase could escape. No one would be left behind. Now it makes sense why the bracelets are numbers. 1 through 9, divided into teams of 4 and 5 people. The digital root of both teams ends up being 9.
Yep.
Take 1, 2, 7, 8 and 3, 4, 5, 6, 9 for example. The digital root for both teams would be 9. Or 2, 3, 4, 9 and 1, 5, 6, 7, 8. The digital root is still 9.
Exactly. Even with 8 people, you can make a digital root of 9 with both teams if we had Snake.
There are a bunch of combinations that work and they all end up the same way. If one team has the digital root of 9, so would the other one.
Yep.
What does that mean? The answer's simple. From the very beginning, the Nonary Game was designed to save all 9 people.
Exactly.
That's how it was meant to be. Zero didn't lie. He never said there'd be only 1 9 door, but anyone who'd found themselves in the game would have assumed that was the case. Fights would have broken out.
This is all part of an experiment, I guess.
One team would likely betray or deceive the other. Someone might be hurt, someone might get killed, but eventually, they'd reach this very same room and realize how pointless all their infighting was. There were 2 doors. There was no need to kill each other.
Oh. But Snake was lost. The 9th man we all understand, he died of his own volition, but oh god. Snake. They'd understand and be appalled, overwhelmed with guilt at what they'd done.
This game was designed for that purpose. This Nonary Game. We were all arguing and fighting over doors at the beginning. But if there had been one slip-up, one tiny mistake that led to more, everything could have been so much worse now.
That's true. Thought of it sent a chill down his spine. God damn.
So, what are we going to do, Junpei?
A voice broke through Junpei's frantic thoughts. Alright guys, I'm back. Sorry about that.
Oh, right.
Hey, keep it together, man.
Yeah, let's keep it together.
Sorry.
Jeez. So what do we do?
Well, we've got to get everyone else.
What do you...
We need to think about our next step.
Our numbers are 1, 3, 5, and 6. That's a digital root of 6.
Exactly.
The 4 of us can't open the number 9 door.
The 4? Wait. Don't tell me.
Yep. There's one combination that'll let 3 of us open the 9 door.
Ah.
That's why I'm asking, what now?
We go back and get the others.
What now?
It took him no time at all to determine the answer. There was only one combination of 3 people that would give a digital root of 9. 1, 3, 5. We're not leaving June behind.
No, we gotta go back.
That wasn't a possibility he was willing to consider. Santa and Ace agreed.
Yep.
I agree. We cannot leave June behind.
Junpei let out a breath he hadn't realized he'd been holding.
Are you sure?
Well, we're not going to leave you behind and abandon everyone else. God, no.
I don't mind staying.
June's body betrayed her true feelings. Her eyes wet with the beginnings of tears and her legs shook.
It's okay. There's no way we'd leave you behind.
Santa had said what Junpei had known from the moment he realized 3 people could go through the door.
Besides, I'd rather drown at the bottom of the ocean than escape with this sausage fest. Maybe I'll get to go to Atlanta.
Are you sure you don't mean Atlantis?
Huh? Oh, right.
God damn it, Junpei. Your one freaking chance to make a good joke, and Ace, out of everyone, is the one that tells you that you got the joke wrong, you dumb idiot. Perhaps it was the sudden reassurance that no one wanted to leave June behind, but Junpei laughed harder than he had in some time. Santa and Ace smiled.
You guys.
June blinked tears from her eyes and bit her lip. She didn't seem to know what else to say.
Very well. Best we head back to C-Deck then. We should be able to take the elevator we passed earlier.
And say hello to everyone else.
Perhaps Clover, Seven, and Lotus will have returned from door 1.
Fingers crossed Clover doesn't have the axe on her, because we haven't been able to calm her down in this situation. Even as Ace spoke, they knew finding the others wouldn't improve the situation.
But even with all 7 of us...
Ace knew it. They all knew it.
Standing around here isn't going to accomplish anything, don't you agree? Let's find the other 3 first, and then search for another solution.
I guess you're right.
All right, let's go.
Ace looked at all three of them, then turned and headed through the door.
Yeah.
Okay.
Alright. Santa and June followed.
Huh.
Junpei started towards the door, then stopped.
Come to think of it, what is this room?
It's a chapel. It didn't seem terribly important, but what exactly was it?
We were so focused on the doors, we didn't even look around.
It's a chapel. A red carpet ran between two... Yeah, we've read this description before.
It looks like it's set up for some kind of ceremony.
A ceremony of some kind?
But what kind?
We'll find out, I assume. Yep, carpet leading to the ship, and at the end, the coffin. Was it an altar, perhaps? There was a small rectangular alcove at the end of the carpet, and inside the alcove was a raised platform. Resting on top of the platform was a coffin.
Huh. A coffin? What on earth is a coffin doing in a place like this?
Who knows? Before Junpei had time to answer that question...
Hey, Junpei, the hell are you doing? Let's move.
Yep. Santa's voice echoed from the hall outside.
Right, okay. I'll be right there.
Junpei turned on his heel and left the quiet, somber room. That coffin's so important. It's gotta be important. Whatever's inside there. Goddamn. Whatever's inside there. Better be important. They took the elevator up to C deck. Once they were there, they headed back towards the main hall and the central staircase. It didn't take them long.
Look, it's...
Yep.
Seven and Lotus.
They didn't look happy. What?
We've got a problem.
Oh no.
Clover is gone.
What?
What?
Junpei and his three companions looked at one another. How the fuck? He turned back to Seven and Lotus.
What do you mean, gone?
Santa, Ace, and June had their own questions to ask.
When?
Why?
You two went into door 1 with Clover, didn't you?
Seven and Lotus responded as best they could.
Yeah, we went through the door together.
But Clover barely spoke to us.
She just did her own thing the whole time.
Huh.
There were 4 rooms on the other side of door 1.
She wouldn't let us into the 4th room.
She just said, I'll take care of this one.
Oh, that's the captain's room with the body.
And shut the door.
She must have blocked it with something on the other side.
Shit.
Waited for a while, but Clover didn't come out.
We called for her, but she didn't answer.
So I kicked down the door and we went into the room.
But
She was gone.
It was empty.
Clover wasn't there.
There was a door on the other wall.
And it was open.
We figure she opened the door and left by herself.
We ran after her, of course, but
Well, obviously we didn't find her. You figured that much out.
Clover's gone.
Junpei thought for a moment.
When did this happen?
Yeah, when?
We got here just before you.
You
Shit.
certainly have excellent timing.
So you haven't searched anywhere other than near the staircase?
Well, they've only just got here, so...
No, we haven't.
Finally, Ace spoke. His voice had an edge of resolve and concern.
Very well then. We'd best separate and look for Clover. We haven't much time left. Let's begin.
Yeah.
Alright, there we go. Quick nods all around, 6 remaining players spread out, let's go. Alright. Junpei and June ran into the central hospital room and looked around.
She's not here.
Nope.
No, she isn't.
They searched a little longer, but with no luck. They couldn't find Clover.
There's no sign of her.
No, finally they gave up and left the central hospital room. Anywhere else? Slowly they made their way back to the hallway. No, at last they reached the stairs and Junpei spoke.
All right, I'm thinking we should probably split up. I'll head back to the stairs and take the elevator down to E deck. June, you can take the stairs up to B deck.
All right, that sounds good. But,
What?
could you stop calling me by that code name when we're alone?
Huh? Sure, right. I'll do that.
Took a while for us to get to the little flirty bit. There was a reason Junpei persisted in calling her June even when they were alone, although perhaps not the best reason. He was embarrassed to call her by the nickname he'd used when they were children. Kani. 9 years ago it came naturally, after all they were children. But now they were adults, it felt strange. Regardless of what he might hope for, to call a woman he wasn't dating by such a childish nickname felt odd to him. Then date her. Of course, to call her Miss Kurashiki would be even more awkward, and simply Kurashiki would seem a little brusque. And although he couldn't put his finger on why, it felt somewhat forward to call her Akane when they hadn't seen one another for so long. In short, it was simply easier for him to call her June and leave it at that.
Jumpy.
No, it's nothing.
All right, I'm going then.
Yeah, be careful, Kane.
Oh, Kane blushed and smiled.
You be careful too, Junpei.
Yep.
Yeah, got it.
Junpei looked after her for a moment as she ran up the stairs, then turned around and took off down the hallway. Alright. What now? Okay, heading down to E deck. Okay. Tragedy always oh no, who's dead? But to wait for a man to stand before striking him down seems almost crueler than dealing the fatal blow while he lies on the ground. A light in a dark place, June's smile had given him hope, both for escape and possibly for something else. It was that hope that raised his spirits just enough that they might soon be fully dashed. He opened the elevator door and there she was. A woman sat slouched against the wall. Lotus, oh fuck, oh fuck. Her body was limp and her skin smooth and pale as always. Fuck, it was covered in bright red blood, she's dead. Junpei felt his chest constrict. He couldn't breathe and his legs began to shake. A slow cold drop of sweat trickled down his back. He felt his stomach somersault. Junpei's mind went blank, all his thoughts replaced with endless hissing white. Driven by little more than instinct, he began to walk toward Lotus slowly. Each slow movement of his stiff limbs brought him closer to her corpse. Oh, fuck me. Finally, he stood next to her. Robotically, he bent down and put his hand against her neck. There was no pulse. No rise and fall of breathing. She was slightly warm. Something somewhere in Junpei's shaken mind told him that meant she had been killed recently. Yes, Junpei thought, his mind slowly returning. She had been killed. Someone had killed her. There was a deep cut on the left side of her chest. Blood still oozed from it, though clearly her heart had stopped beating some time ago. The weapon had been a knife then. Perhaps she had been stabbed in her heart once? She would have died immediately. He took little comfort knowing she must have suffered very little. Only then did Junpei notice. Lotus's bracelet was gone. Yeah, she had to be dead, yeah. Was that why the killer had ended Lotus's life? So that they might have the number 8 bracelet? If that was true, then the killer was whoever wanted the number 8 bracelet. Or perhaps more accurately, the person who had gained the most by obtaining the bracelet of number 8. Let's figure this out then. Let's think through this. So, out of everyone, we've got Ace, who's number 1. If he had the 8 bracelet, he would have number 9, but you need 3 people to go through a 9 door. So he'd need another number 9, so that wouldn't really work. Santa, you know, fuck it. Just, let's keep moving. Who is that? Who would benefit the most from the number 8 bracelet? The thought had only just entered Junpei's mind when, oh fuck. He heard a noise. A sound like a sharp knife cutting through wet meat. And we just got stabbed. It wasn't merely pain, there was heat. Extreme heat as well. He felt as though molten iron had been splashed against the side of his body. Finally, his brain made the connection. He had been stabbed. But where? His body was quickly going numb. He couldn't tell where the knife had met his flesh. Given the circumstances, however, he had most likely been stabbed in the back. Whoever had killed Lotus had now done the same to Junpei as well. His voice was little more than a weak groan. With what little strength he had left, Junpei turned his body, trying to catch a glimpse of his attacker. Ah. But as he did, the knife dug itself in deeper, twisting viciously. Fuck. He collapsed to the floor, a puppet with its strings cut. His arms and legs lay where they fell, oddly twisted and awkwardly positioned. Junpei's body was entirely numb. He could feel the blood leaking out of him, but nothing would move. Nothing save his eyes. As he lay on the floor, his life ebbing away, Junpei finally saw his attacker. 2 tiny images of the killer reflected in his eyes. With that recognition came nothing. He felt no emotions, not anger, not sadness, not regret. The paralysis that had claimed his body had reached his mind. His killer glanced down at his body. Damn it, we don't even see who killed him? Then, without a word, climbed into the elevator and was gone. That's an ending. His eyesight began to fade, the world grew blurry and began to dissolve into an empty white fog. The fog crept into the edges of his mind and worked inexorably inward. Soon it swallowed up the last that remained of Junpei's mind and his consciousness left him. There was nothing more. Into utter emptiness he fell. Into zero. Whatever Junpei had been was gone. Damn. So that was the bad ending. That I'm going to call that the knife ending because we got stabbed. And we got an achievement. Yay. Damn. Would you like to save the info that we just obtained? Yes. That's the knife ending for sure. Okay, let's take a look at the flowchart. So this is locked. Apparently there are things we need to do in these escape rooms to trigger this ending. Ah, we haven't triggered anything in these endings, so... Okay. I don't really know what we need to trigger, but I assume it's something in this escape room and something in these two. So, assuming we've done everything here, let's trigger what we need to in this escape room. Let's go do that. Computer. Alright, well, we're doing what we did last time. We're just going to have to jump through until we find an option, so I'll see you when we find the next option. Okay, so I just saw this. I was skipping through the dialogue and I wasn't sure if I'd seen it before, and I realized I hadn't. There was a lot of stuff about going through brains and how the brain is an output device. Lotus is typing, and then we've just mentioned this word prosopagnosia. Lotus spun around in her chair to look at him. Junpei just shrugged and shook his head. I think this is the relevant information, because this is something I definitely don't remember from the last time I was in the lab, so...
No, what is it?
What's prosopagnosia?
Well, put simply, it means a condition where the mind can't distinguish between human faces.
Why is it telling us this?
In other words, my face would look the same as Clover's or even yours.
Oh.
So they can't remember faces, which is how most people recognize each other. That means that people with prosopagnosia have trouble recognizing even people they're close to.
Oh.
Usually they can make do by associating people with other things. Their voices, their clothes, their hair.
Does that mean other people's faces look like blanks?
Okay. I'm thinking about this. We've got a bunch of little items to unlock, aka we've got a lot of things to bring up in this route. I'm trying to think, because there was a lock on the flowchart. Let me see if I can actually get the flowchart. I can't. I'll do that in a minute. Let's just finish this first.
No, I don't think so. Well, you've seen monkeys, like in a zoo, right? To you and me, all the monkey faces look the same, even though they've obviously got faces. It's almost impossible for a human to distinguish between them. The zoo staff that works with them would learn to identify different monkeys eventually. But you or I couldn't, unless one had a scar or something else to set it apart.
People with prosopagnosia don't have this ability to read faces. They literally just can't. Everything just looks the same.
Well, that's how people would be to someone with prosopagnosia.
Prosopagnosia. Huh. I didn't even know that kind of thing existed.
Junpei did his best to act as though the entire lecture hadn't gone entirely over his head.
And, what were we talking about?
The idea that your brain is just an output device, like a
Yeah,
monkey.
that's what I missed. That's what I missed. That I skipped past.
Are you serious about that stuff?
Not really. I was just kidding for about half.
Oh.
What about the other half?
Well, I guess I was just adulting.
Not...
Alright, Lotus's smile had something rather masochistic to it.
It's nothing more than a story I made up out of boredom. Don't take it seriously.
I don't know what the story was, I completely skipped past it, but I think the prosopagnosia is the important thing to take from this, so I think we're okay there.
It was the first thing that came to mind, and I just talked about it to kill time,
Oh.
but...
Oh, and she
No.
solved it. There we go.
Oh, then you've...
Nice.
Now I can skip past this. This is all stuff we've seen.
The screen?
No,
Huh?
no, I can see.
Yeah, I've seen it. Seen it.
Nothing.
Seen it.
Well, let me take... I did...
Yeah,
Come on.
I guess you're right.
No problem.
Now, I bet...
Skip on. Okay, so there's one at the locker. Let me just see where the other keys are in this. One in the boiler room, which apparently we already have on unlock. And then one here. Oh, that's the photos. That's not the coffin, because it's the keys on the top and not the bottom. The photos would be Ace, and he said he would leave it to us, and he seemed a bit troubled. Does that mean that Ace has prosopagnosia? Maybe? That's the only explanation I can really think of, because Santa's not displaying any traits of it, and neither is June, but Ace is the only person in the game so far who has. Anyway, to the locker. It was Clover.
Hey, Junpei!
Alright, let's just skip over to when she says something new. I'm gonna look carefully,
What's
though.
up?
I wanted to ask you something.
Oh, is she actually gonna ask us this time? Because I think she walked away the first time.
Junpei, you went into door 5 with my brother, right?
Yes.
Did you hear him say, like, anything weird?
No, not at all.
Huh?
Why is she asking me this, Junpei wondered. The more he thought about it, however, the more it made sense. Snake had been gone for a long time. Clover was quite attached to her brother. Of course she would have been worried about him.
Well, let me think.
He didn't say anything too weird. Nothing.
Sorry, Clover. I can't really think of anything. I mean, he did mention that his hearing exceeds that of a regular person, or something like that, but
Yeah, he mentioned that basically you can't really sneak up on the guy.
that's about it.
Okay.
Clover's words were barely audible. She nodded vaguely to Junpei and turned to walk away.
Hey, wait a minute. Look, I don't know if I should ask you things, but if you don't mind, I was hoping you could tell me if... Is Snake, I mean, was he born...
You're talking about his eyes?
Oh.
Yeah.
No, he wasn't born blind.
Oh, he became blind. That's really sad, actually.
When he was a kid, he got in an accident. A really bad car accident. He couldn't see after that. And his arm.
Oh.
His arm?
Yeah. My brother's left arm is... it's not like a normal person's arm.
Prosthetic.
It's fake. It's not a real
And
one.
that links to the coffin ending, because that's why she was so happy when we told her about the accident. Because it means that body can't be Snake.
The accident hurt him really bad. To save him, they had to cut off his arm.
Oh.
Damn.
Is that all you wanted to ask me?
So, I'm actually a little bit annoyed because somebody in my comments mentioned this. Mentioned this a few episodes ago in my comments, despite the fact I hadn't reached this point myself. So it was a spoiler. So to whoever it was that mentioned that, I know one of you did. I just want to remind people, obviously, not to spoil events for games in the comments, because I like to read my comments and I don't really want to read spoilers. So just be a bit more careful next time, guys. And Junpei nodded.
Look, I'm sorry for making you talk about all that painful stuff.
It's not that.
Clover only shook her head and walked off down the stairs. Oh? Well, that's that done. Anyway, we need to move on down to the cargo room. Let's deal with friggin' prospagnosia.
Now we finally have all 9 picture cards. We just need to insert these cards.
Yep, Junpei stared at the cards. Ace peered
You
at
know
them.
which card goes in.
Junpei gave him a look.
Yeah, of course. You just match our numbers to the numbers, then you pop the corresponding. So for instance, the card with
Yes.
Oh, I see.
Huh?
Junpei thought he might have imagined it, but he could have sworn Ace stiffened. Just then, Junpei heard a noise. What? He spun around just in time to see June collapse in front of the fence.
Hey, June, are you okay?
Oh, fuck. She did not respond. Junpei spun back around to face Ace.
I'm sorry, I gotta go check on her. You finish the box thing, alright?
Oh.
Just put the cards in the boxes. I'm counting on you.
Oh, so this is how we're gonna... We're outing Ace's prospagnosia. Ooh. He shoved the cards into Ace's hands and ran off toward June.
Are you alright? What happened?
Junpei called out to her as he ran.
Can you stand?
Oh, fuck. As he arrived, June was climbing to her feet with Santa's help.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm fine. I just tripped.
Don't give me that. Now is not the time.
But it's true. I tripped over a box.
Oh.
Just let me see for a sec.
Junpei put his palm on her forehead.
Huh.
You're still warm.
Her temperature was much the same as it had been the last time he checked. She wasn't hot like she'd been before, but she was still warm. Her fever wasn't completely gone.
I saw her fall. I think she really did just trip on something, you know?
Junpei would have been more willing to agree if June hadn't needed quite so much help standing up.
Still, to fall down like that? I think she's probably still a little messed up.
June was doing her best to busy herself, brushing dust off her dress and blushing. Her smile looked a little embarrassed and her face was a bit flushed, but she did look a great big bit deal better than she had. Still,
Alright, well, let's just get out of here as fast as we can so we can get you to a hospital.
agreed.
Oh, I don't think it's anything that serious. I just need a little medicine and some sleep, and I'll be fine.
Okay.
Medicine. Medicine, huh? Well, if we could get in touch with anyone outside, I'll bet Ace could swing that for you easy.
Oh.
Ace?
Huh? Don't you know? He's the president of a pharmaceutical company.
What?
Cradle Pharmaceuticals is the name, I think.
What? What? Excuse me? Cradle Pharmaceuticals is the fucking company that kidnapped the kids for the first Nonary game, though. And it was like a big cover-up, and 7 got... And Ace is the... Suddenly, I'm not trusting Ace very much right now.
Their flagship product is an anesthetic drug called Soparil.
Okay.
Soparil. Soparil. I've heard of that before somewhere.
Yeah, I've definitely heard that name. I don't remember where, but I've definitely heard it. Junpei couldn't shake the feeling that he'd heard about Soparil before. Santa continued.
Soparil.
Right.
It's an anesthetic that's a gas at room temperature. A lot like how nitrous oxide is.
Is that the thing that Ace injected himself with back earlier on?
It takes only a few seconds to spread, and even a small amount is very effective. A bunch of countries quickly accepted it for widespread use within their police and military forces. It was an effective crowd suppressant and room clearer. It was practical, ethical, and the humane nature of it made it the ideal drug. It's been around for about 6 years.
Damn.
They developed it from the extracts of several different roots. It became popular almost as soon as it was made public, with many governments placing large orders.
Oh, nice.
Demand for Soparil skyrocketed, and of course that meant Cradle Pharmaceuticals' stock did too.
6 years ago. Okay.
Why do you know all of this?
Santa's information was interesting, but Junpei couldn't help but feel a little suspicious. Santa's reply was blunt and simple.
I heard it from the old man himself.
Oh.
From Ace? When?
By the number 4 door at the central stairway, when we were searching the second-class room.
Oh, okay.
Remember how Snake, 7, and you went to door 5? It was back then. I asked him what he did for a living, and he said he ran his own company. After that, we just started talking, and I guess it just came up, you know?
Oh, did someone tell that to 7?
Huh.
Are you worried about something?
No, nothing.
As he spoke, Junpei looked over toward Ace. He seemed to be having difficulty with the 9 boxes.
What the hell is he doing?
He turned back to June and Santa.
June, don't push yourself, all right?
Yes.
Santa, could you take care of her? I'll go check on Ace. Looks like he's having trouble.
God damn, it seems so innocent. If you got this ending without hearing about the 7's ending with the Cradle Pharmaceuticals and him getting kidnapped and all of the drama surrounding that, God, he looked like an innocent old man. He probably fucking organized those kids getting kidnapped. Like, Ace is not the old, happy man we thought he was, and he's been acting quite shifty for quite a while now. But, goddamn.
Sure.
He gave them both a short nod, then turned and headed toward Ace.
What are you doing?
Ace's back was to him as Junpei approached. The older man turned around to look at him. His face was pale and covered in sweat.
What happened?
Nothing. My vision has gotten rather blurry, I think, because of fatigue. I can't see very well at the
It's
moment.
prosopagnosia.
What can't you see well?
These pictures.
Ace held the cards out to Junpei, splayed out in the shape of a fan.
I don't care to admit it, but I may be developing presbyopia.
Developing what?
Growing old is a difficult thing.
Oh. He made the best attempt he could at a self-deprecating smile, but his face was flushed and his lips were pale and drawn. Bullshit.
At any rate, I'll leave the rest to you. I'm feeling awfully tired, so if you don't mind, I'd like to rest for a bit.
He shoved the cards into Junpei's hands and walked away quickly. Junpei looked at him quizzically.
How could simply looking at cards have tired him out?
Junpei looked down at the cards in his hands. All of the pictures were quite clear and each person was easily recognizable. Was Ace's vision truly so bad? No.
But if it wasn't, what had made him so uncomfortable?
That was when Junpei remembered what he'd heard from Lotus much earlier.
Prosopagnosia. Well, put simply, it means a condition where the mind can't distinguish between human faces.
Exactly, he's got prosopagnosia.
In other words, so they can't. That means that.
Maybe he's got prosopagnosia?
Damn. Junpei took another look at Ace. He sat at the base of the stairs looking quite depressed.
Well, he looks depressed enough to have it.
If he really did have prosopagnosia, there was no doubt it was a depressing and painful experience. It might explain why he's got a medical company as well. Maybe he's looking to cure it. Still, Junpei didn't feel like patting him on the shoulder and telling him everything would be alright would help that much. Still, Junpei thought perhaps it was best to keep Ace's condition to himself, at least for the time being.
Oh well.
Yep.
Time to solve.
And... okay.
Ace's card is in box.
Skip this bit. We've heard this bit.
And...
Yep, we get the pins. Yeah, yeah.
Not... I guess I'll...
Alright. Well, with that, I think we have unlocked this part. Let's go. So now we got to go and find where the game branches off. So I'll see you guys when we get to alternate conversations. Okay, up to C deck, head to the main staircase, and take them along.
Look, 7 in Lotus.
Yep, we're gonna go for the Clover thing.
Clover is.
What? What do you mean? When?
What?
You two.
Yeah.
But Clover.
She just.
There were.
She would.
She just.
And
She must have.
we waited.
We called.
So I.
But
It was empty.
Clover.
There was a door.
And it was.
We figured.
We ran out.
Obvious.
Clover.
When did...
We got here.
You search. So you have.
No.
Yep.
She's not here.
No, she isn't.
Okay.
All right, just in case, we should go take a look in the shower room.
Okay, we've got to take a look in the shower room. Let's go.
Shower room.
That's where her brother is. She might have gone to see
That
him.
makes sense. Okay, this is new then. Good, good. June bit her lip. She knew, as Junpei did, that there was only one thing to see in the shower room, and it wasn't pleasant. Oh, we're gonna discover that it's not Snake now. Instead of having Clover tell us, we're gonna find out.
Well, we might as well check, right? Let's go.
Alright. There was a screwdriver stuck between the door and the frame.
Good. We can still get in.
We should thank Seven later.
Junpei and June slipped through the door, moved down the hallway, and stepped into the shower room. Here we go. Take a look at the body.
No luck.
Take a look at the body.
Yeah, I don't think she's here.
Look at the body. June's voice was faint as she placed her hands over her mouth. Her face looked a little green.
The smell is horrible.
The stench in the room was almost unbearable. It had grown far more unpleasant since their last visit. If Junpei had eaten lunch, he would have difficulty retaining it. He wanted to leave the room as soon as possible, but he had to be sure, and the only way to be sure was to check the other side of the divider.
Let's check the back. Just...
June offered no resistance and nodded weakly to Junpei as he headed around the divider. He stopped at the corner and turned his head.
No, she's not here.
Okay. As he'd expected, Clover was nowhere to be seen. The only thing on the other side of the divider was a dead body lying in a reddish-brown puddle of dry and drying blood.
Just where did your sister...
Junpei whispered to what was once Snake. He'd asked rhetorically, of course, as there was no way he'd get an answer. He gave a deep sigh.
Such a horrible way to go. The skull shattered, the left arm's hideously twisted.
And that's where it's gonna click, probably.
Wait.
And it's clicked. The bright white of the ulna was clearly visible through the remains of skin and muscle. Bright white? Ulna?
Bones.
The pieces fell into place. Junpei remembered something Clover had told him in the lab.
My brother's left arm is... The accident hurt him really...
Of course. Why didn't I realize it earlier?
Here we go. Clover had told Junpei that Snake's left arm was prosthetic. But the left arm of the corpse behind the divider was quite clearly a real human arm, or at least it had been once. That meant... the corpse...
Jumpy?
June's unsure voice at Junpei's suddenly strange behavior drew his attention back to her.
Oh, sorry for making you wait.
Oh. Tell June. Tell someone. Didn't have to hide it. Junpei and June headed back toward the large hospital room. They stepped through the door and out of the shower room. Are we going to split up again? Down the hallway they went, searching for Clover in every corner. They had reached the stairs when... Seven appeared, breathless and yelling.
Junpei! June! Where were you guys?
He looked pale in his face. Oh, fuck, someone's dead. Something terrible had happened. Someone's dead. Who's dead?
Did something happen?
Is Lotus dead again? Seven drew a shaking hand across his face and gulped down a breath of air.
Clover is...
Oh, it's Clover.
Clover is dead. I found her in the first-class bathroom.
God damn it. They're all here. Fuck. All sound ceased for Junpei. The world was an empty, muffled expanse. At least we're not dying this time when we find the body. Then he began to hear his own breathing. Oh, fuck. June's mouth moved, but he heard nothing. She tried once more, and then her energy was gone, and she collapsed against the wall. He could have helped her, but he hadn't, and now she was dead. So he stood there, frozen in place.
Clover. Clover.
That's really dark, because if her brother's still alive, which she is, that's really dark, fuck.
Why? Why did this happen?
He forced his body to move. Each step felt like another nail pounded into his heart. Finally, he was in front of her. He knelt and placed 3 fingers on Clover's neck. She's gone. No pulse. No breath. But she was still warm and her eyes were closed peacefully. It would have been easy to think she was asleep. Easy, that is, were it not for the slowly expanding puddle of blood beneath her. He traced its source to her back, a gash just beneath her shoulder blade. Was the weapon a knife, perhaps? It was a knife. The killer had taken it when they left. When he closed his eyes, he saw Clover smile.
Clover?
Her innocent smile. Her energy. He would never see her smile again.
No way.
He could have done something. He could have helped her. His stomach twisted itself into a sickening knot.
Let's get out of here, June.
Junpei lifted a limp June from the floor and carried her from the bathroom. Someone here is a fucking killer. And to be honest,
Are you alright?
I think I know who. It was a foolish question and he knew it.
Yes, I think so.
Her voice was weak. The fever had gone down, but the emotional scars she'd received were not likely to recede as quickly. Junpei laid his hand on her shoulder and they walked back to the bedroom.
You should get some rest. Here, the bed. Can you sit?
Yes.
She nodded once and stared at the floor. There were 4 others in the room. Ace, Lotus, Santa, and Seven. They all stared at nothing, their faces drawn and tired. After a while, they drifted into the bathroom to see Clover's corpse themselves. Once everyone was back in the bedroom, Junpei walked slowly to the center of it and looked around at the slumped figures gathered there.
Who was the first to find the body?
Me.
Damn. Seven spoke from behind Junpei. He turned around. Seven's hand was up.
Why did you come to this room?
To look for Clover. Why else? I found her body in the bathroom. As soon as I did, I ran outside. I got to the top of the stairs by the casino and yelled as loud as I could. Hey, guys! I found her, but it's bad. She's in the bathroom in the first-class cabin. Come quick!
Alright.
Or something like that. Then I went back to the bathroom. Ace, Santa, and Lotus showed up real soon after that. But I guess you two hadn't heard me or something because you didn't show. So I took off down the stairs to look for you. After that, I mean, you know the rest, right?
Yep. Junpei nodded and closed his eyes. There was one more thing he needed to ask.
Seven. There's one more thing I'm worried about.
What?
You stuck one of those plates in between the door and the frame, right?
Yep, he did.
Why did you do that?
Come on, didn't I already tell you that? I did it so that the door wouldn't lock. So we could come back to this room? Oh. You think I did it?
Well, I don't know. That kind of depends on what you say, doesn't it?
It really does. And I don't blame Junpei for coming to this conclusion. I don't think Seven's the killer. I think Ace is the killer. And I think that makes the most sense. Because all of the little hints that we've just had about his learning about his prosopagnosia, whatever, that's all about him, evidently. And it would maybe make sense that he goes on a killing spree because he doesn't know who people are, so he just kind of goes and kills them. That being said, I could be completely wrong, but given that he's the head of Cradle Pharmaceuticals, which was the group that apparently kidnapped all those kids for the first Nonary game, it paints him in a really suspicious light.
For crying out loud.
Seven sighed and shook his head.
Follow me.
Oh, there were 2 doors standing next to one another. He opened the one on the right.
A closet?
Yeah.
Seven stepped inside. He stood in front of one of the shelves that filled it and gestured toward the safe. The safe. He looked at Junpei.
This is the reason. This safe. We couldn't open it when we were getting through this room. I figured there might be something pretty important in it. I couldn't stop thinking about it. I figured eventually we might figure out what the numbers are for the safe. And if we did, I didn't want to screw around with door 5 again. So I put the plate in the exit door so we could get back in that way. You get it now?
Understood.
Yeah.
Junpei nodded and looked at the safe. He grabbed the handle and shook it. Still locked.
Figured it wouldn't open.
It was as locked as it had been when Seven found it.
Huh?
There was one change, however.
This is...
What? Just underneath the safe was a pile of fine reddish-brown powder. What?
rust.
Oh. Junpei stared at it, considering.
If there's rust here, that means... Has someone opened the safe?
Oh. Did someone maybe get the combination? Junpei left the It could have been Clover, actually. She could have been here. She could have opened the safe. And it might have something to do with that one paper that she has, that she gets in the other endings when we go back to check on her in door 1. she had that paper that she wouldn't show us, and she said it like had a clue or something. Maybe it had a way to open the safe. 7 followed him back to the bedroom. Yeah. It was cold and quiet. No one spoke. I mean, we know Lotus isn't the killer, because she got killed that one time. They sat frozen in place by shock and grief and fatigue. The room felt tiny and oppressive, and the thick metallic smell of blood filled the room. Junpei turned and headed for the living room. Anything to get out of there.
Maybe there's another clue. Anything that might lead us to discover who stabbed Clover.
As quickly as they could, they searched around and under the beds and in the corners. His eyes caught on the door. Oh? The door that led to the passageway of door number 5.
Behind this door.
The dead man, ninth man.
The ninth man's body is behind there. Maybe I should have another look at it, just in case.
Let me guess, we're gonna go behind there and the bracelet's gonna be gone. Quietly, he pushed open the door.
Ugh.
The smell hit him like a blow to the face.
Oh, the hell? This smell is...
His lungs contracted, unwilling to inhale such fetid air. Acid boiled up from the base of his stomach, churning what little food there was into a violent froth. It was too much for him, and he vomited. A thin stream of yellow water and bile splattered onto the floor. Ah. He wiped his mouth weakly and stared at the dead body. Chunks of torn flesh lay in an arc around the body. What remained of its intestines had slid out onto the floor. The pool of blood that framed it was half dry, but so thick that it had been taken on a texture none like that of an egg yolk prepared sunny side up. On the floor next to the broken mass of the man's head lay his glasses, cracks splintering across the lenses. The blood stains near them had already dried, like scabs on the floor.
Wait.
That was when he noticed.
It's gone.
The bracelet's gone.
His bracelet?
Yep.
It was right next to the glasses.
And now it's gone. Someone's come back in, taken that bracelet.
But why?
Had someone taken it? He was turning it over and over in his mind when he heard Seven's voice.
Huh? Where'd Junpei go?
Drifted out to him for... Wait a minute. No, I'm thinking... If the 9's bracelet's gone, and let's say Clover got killed, let's say someone was maybe after Clover... Wait, so 9 bracelet. Let's think about... What? 9 plus 8 is 17. That'd be 18. I'm just trying to connect the two together, because whoever killed Clover obviously killed Lotus in the other timeline. Junpei walked slowly out of the hallway.
Oh, there you are. Were you looking for something in the hallway?
7 looked up as Junpei entered the room.
Yeah.
Did you find something?
He thought for a moment before he responded.
No, nothing.
Technically, it wasn't a lie. He hadn't found anything. In a way, in fact, that was the problem. Something he'd expected to have find hadn't been there.
What's up?
Well, I wanted you to take a look at something.
Oh, okay.
What is it?
Well? 7 led Junpei back to the bathroom. Oh, hi, Clover. How you doing? As Clover's corpse came into view, he felt his heart flip and then fall to the bottom of his stomach. Something between a sigh and a groan escaped his lips.
What was it you wanted to show me?
That her boots are fabulous! Oh my god.
I searched Clover's body again. A real shame.
She was stabbed once in the back.
She was stabbed once in the back.
Oh.
Probably by a knife or something.
Hint, it's the guy that killed us in the last timeline.
And I found this.
As he spoke, he moved around Clover's head. Then knelt down and flipped open her right hand.
What?
She was holding a piece of paper.
I haven't actually looked at it yet. Didn't want to disturb the crime scene, you know? Basic stuff. Well, I did borrow one thing.
Oh?
What?
He wasn't sure what that meant, but it likely didn't matter. Probably a bracelet. The paper was more important.
I'm opening it.
He picked it up and carefully opened it. There were 2 sentences written on it.
Truth had gone, and truth had gone.
Oh, this is the paper. This is what I meant earlier, the paper that she keeps finding.
Ah, now truth is asleep in the darkness of the sinister hand.
No idea what any of that means. No idea.
What is this? Some kind of secret code?
7 peered over Junpei's shoulder at the note. Junpei stepped away from Clover's body and into the living room. He began to pace, attempting to decode the note. The first clue was likely the phrase sinister hand. Sinister hand means... I don't know. Am I supposed to know this? Let's go right hand.
No, that's not right.
Oh.
In heraldry, the term sinister was used to refer to the left side of a coat of arms.
Yes, how the hell am I meant to know that? Come on.
Or more accurately, it referred to things on the left side of a bearer of a coat of arms. The left hand. The left hand. What does the left hand mean?
Junpei looked at his own left arm. At the bracelet on his wrist.
Does the darkness of the sinister hand have something to do with the bracelet?
Potentially? He examined the bracelet closely.
There's two things sticking out on either side of the face. The left and right sides of the face.
Try clicking the left side.
Left and right. Left and right. Right and left. Truth is gone. Truth gone.
Okay. Oh, right and left like decoding a safe. Truth gone. Maybe those two words? How about switching the sentence around, reading out loud? What else could truth and gone mean?
What else could gone and truth mean? Truth, of course, means something that is correct. Something that's fact. In other words, something that is right. You could then safely assume that gone means left.
Yeah, because if something is gone, it means it has left that space.
After all, after someone left, they were gone.
Yeah.
But in this case, they clearly refer to their directional homonyms. Then truth equals right, and gone equals left.
Junpei looked at the bracelet again.
The left and right of the bracelet. These two things sticking out. So if I...
Press them in the following order. Truth is gone, truth is gone, truth is gone. So it'd be right, left, right, left, right, left. And then 1, 4, 3, 8, 3, 4, 2, 1. One after another, 8 numbers flashed on, then off. Oh
Wait,
man.
did it just...
He checked one more time to be sure. That's gonna be the code to the safe. 1, 4, 3, 8, 3, 4, 2, 1.
1, 4, 3, 8, 3, 4, 2, 1.
Huh? Hey, what are those numbers?
Junpei didn't answer. He couldn't answer. He had no idea what they were either. Besides, he was sure he would forget the numbers in the order they came in if he said anything. The safe!
1, 4, 3, 8, 3, 4, 2, 1.
Muttering the numbers to himself over and over, Junpei headed toward the bedroom. The safe!
1, 4, 3, 8, 3, 4, 2, 1. 1, 4, 3, 8, 3, 4, 2, 1. 1, 4, 3, 8, 3, 4, 2, 1. 1, 4, 3, 8, 3, 4, 2, 1.
Before long, he found himself in front of the safe again. Its lock was the only device he could think of that required a sequence of numbers such as the ones he'd just discovered. Besides, someone had opened the safe at least once already. Had Clover come to the bedroom to open it? Junpei slowly dialed in the numbers the bracelet had given him.
1 to the right, 4 to the left, and... Oh,
Yeah. Finished.
bingo. I knew it was for this.
A small telltale sound of a lock opening. He grabbed the handle, took a deep breath, and pulled it up. It's probably... Oh.
Oh, is this some sort of note?
Inside was a piece of paper. It was roughly the same size as the one Clover had been holding.
Let's see.
Junpei picked it up. This is what it said. Fact 1. The Nonary Game was played once before 9 years ago. Fact 2. The person with the number 2 bracelet attended the game 9 years ago. That confirms it. Snake was a part of it. Fact 3. It was planned by the following 4 people. Cradle Pharmaceuticals CEO, Gentaro... Isn't Ace the CEO of Cradle Pharmaceuticals? Then yeah, that means it was planned by Ace. That means Ace planned the first Nonary game, which would connect him to the first Nonary game, which means that Ace is fucking evil. He's evil. Cradle Pharmaceuticals Chief of Staff, Nagi-san Nijisaki, Cradle Pharmaceuticals R&D Supervisor, Teruaki Kubota, and majority shareholder in Cradle Pharmaceuticals, Kagechika Musashido. I must punish them for the innocent lives they sacrificed. This is the only warning they will receive. That innocent souls might be saved, I now state the truth. 0. Damn. Junpei left the closet. There were 5 people waiting for him in the bedroom. Ace, Lotus, Santa, Seven, and June. He looked at each one of them in turn, then slowly placed his hands in the pockets of his vest. Come on, tell him. Start speaking.
Sorry, but do you think you could all come with me?
Come with you?
I want all of you to go to the big hospital room.
Why?
It's
There's
important.
something I want to be sure of.
What do you want to be sure of?
I want to know if the person I suspect is really the culprit.
Wait, then you're saying...
We know. It's Ace. It's Ace. Ace is the culprit. It's all pointing towards Ace being like the culprit right now.
Yeah, I think I've got it figured out. I know who killed Snake and Clover.
The atmosphere in the room changed. Grief was suddenly gone, replaced by attention like a strap of leather stretched to its limit. 5 sets of eyes stared at Junpei. He pretended not to notice.
Anyway, if you could all please move to the big hospital room. I'll explain everything as soon as we get there.
Then, almost as if on cue, the bell began to ring. 3, 4, 5. Oh no, we got 1 hour. 1 hour, kids. The bell rang 5 times, then ceased.
It's 5 o'clock.
We've only got an hour left.
We don't have a lot of time left. Let's go.
Slowly, one by one, they followed Junpei out of the bedroom. Here we go.
Actually, before we get started, I was hoping you could do something for me.
Junpei stopped in front of the door 3 and turned around.
Ace, Seven, and Lotus, could you please place your palms on the red?
Why? Even I'm a little bit confused here.
Huh?
Why? If we need to get to the shower room, why don't we just...
No, we're not going inside. Once you've authenticated, step away.
Why?
Please, just do it.
Okay.
Or perhaps you don't want to know who killed Snake and Clover.
Junpei's implication was clear and Seven understood perfectly.
Fine.
What about you, Ace, Lotus?
Very well.
Sure.
Alright. 1 plus 7, 8, 16. That would be 7. Once they had finished, they stepped away from the door as Junpei had instructed. 3 asterisks shown from the red.
I have this idea. I don't think this device responds to a hand placed on it. It instead reacts to a bracelet being brought close. You don't actually need a hand.
Yeah. He approached it and held his bracelet over the scanner. He made quite sure he didn't place his palm on it and instead only brought his bracelet near it. The 4th asterisk appeared.
I knew it.
Just as Junpei had expected. It was possible to authenticate without placing one's palm on the red, so long as the bracelet was brought near it. Junpei pulled the lever down. Door 3 opened like a hungry mouth. 9 long seconds passed, and then it closed. And the door shut unfed. Junpei walked slowly back to the others who were waiting some distance from the door talking to one another. Santa and June had oh, that was so that he could show the... It was so that you could explain why the other bracelets have gone missing, is because you don't need to scan them with your hand, you just have to put them in front of the scanner. So you could just take people's bracelets and, you know, boom, bada bing, bada boom, get out yourself.
Huh?
It looked as though they hadn't found a chance to break into the conversation yet. As Junpei approached, they turned to look at him, curiosity plain on their faces. Before long, the other 3 did as well.
What was that about?
How should I know?
Hi, Ace. Clearly they were all expecting some answers.
Thanks. I appreciate your cooperation.
Clearly they'd hoped for something more forthcoming. He continued.
By the way, Ace, would you mind if I asked you something?
What is it?
Do you know who I am?
What? What kind of question?
Just answer it, please. Who am I?
You're Junpei, of course. Who else would you be?
Why'd he hesitate?
Unfortunately, that's the wrong answer.
What? Oh, he's trying to trick Ace.
Actually, I'm Santa.
What?
Ace's voice was full of surprise, but it was also tinged with confusion and fear. Everyone else looked nearly as surprised. Santa looked especially shocked to discover he was actually someone else. If he spoke, however, the trap would be exposed. Junpei quickly continued.
The clothes I'm wearing, I borrowed from Junpei. And the clothes he's wearing are mine. We had a little swap.
That's ridiculous. Impossible.
So, you're saying I'm not Santa?
Of course you aren't.
Why? What makes you so sure I'm not Santa?
If you were Santa, then door 3 wouldn't have opened for us just now.
What, not my face?
1 plus 7 plus 8 plus 3 equals 19. 1 plus 9 would be 10. The digital route would be 1.
So, not my face? That's what you mean?
But the 4 of us just opened door 3.
So you mean not my face?
You can't possibly be Santa. Your bracelet number isn't 3.
It's 5, right?
Only then, when it was too late, did Ace realize his mistake. He set his jaw and glared at Junpei.
You're exactly right. My bracelet number is 5.
As he spoke, Junpei lifted his wrist up to show everyone the bright red 5 on his wrist.
Sorry, Ace. I tricked you. Of course, I'm not really Santa. I'm Junpei. Who could possibly think I was? It's obvious I'm not. To think I was? Ridiculous.
Unless you have however you say that word, I have no idea.
But I guess you couldn't see just how obvious it was. I asked you before, didn't I? What makes you so sure I'm not Santa? And you answered. If you were Santa, then door 3 wouldn't have opened for us just now.
Most people would answer, because we can see it.
Most people wouldn't say something like that. The first thing that would come to anyone else's mind wouldn't be the bracelet number. There'd only be one thing they'd say. One sentence. You don't have his face. Ace, you have prosopagnosia. Am I right?
Boom. Junpei's voice was quiet and calm. He knew the truth, so did Ace.
Prosopagnosia?
The others looked confused.
What's that?
Lotus, give us details, please.
No clue.
Prosopagnosia is...
He heard Lotus began to explain it to them. Ace glanced at them, then turned back toward Junpei and sighed.
Very well. I confess. I have prosopagnosia. I cannot differentiate human faces. Is that what this was about? You want to mock me for my disorder?
No.
No, not at all. I'm not making fun of you at all. In fact, I feel kind of bad for you. No, the reason I brought this up is that there's an excellent chance the person who killed Snake has prosopagnosia.
Boom. Ace's face tightened, his eyes narrowed.
What do you mean?
Junpei leaned casually against the iron piping of one of the beds.
I'll just come right out with it. I think it was you, Ace. You killed him.
Ooh, good one, Junpei. Let's just kind of slide that one in. Junpei was suddenly very aware of 5 pairs of eyes on him. He had their undivided attention now. The room had grown very, very quiet. Junpei took a deep breath.
That's ridiculous. What possible evidence do you...
I have 3 pieces of evidence. The first. Think back to a few hours ago.
Let's go.
You made us argue over the 3 doors here in the big hospital room. There was no way all 7 people could go through them. Lotus suggested that we sacrifice one of us.
And? Lotus looked away awkwardly. Junpei glanced at her and continued.
Then you, Ace, said, I'll stay here. Why would you say something like that? It's pretty simple, really.
Oh?
You didn't want us to see the dead body in the shower room.
And with Ace out of the way, none of us had been able to go through door 3.
You see? If Ace stayed behind, there were only 2 doors the rest of us could go through. Doors 7 and 8. There was no way we could get through door 3, the shower room. You knew that, didn't you, Ace? That's why you volunteered to stay behind.
Come on now. I think that's going a bit far.
That's one piece of evidence. We still have 2 more, apparently.
I can understand if you're jealous of my bravery, but please don't devalue my actions. I only wanted to save the rest of you. Surely you can understand my altruism.
Altruism, huh?
Huh. Junpei stared off into the darkness at something very interesting and lazily began to dig a persistent bit of wax out of his ear.
You already knew, didn't you? You knew that whichever doors we took, eventually we'd end up back in the big hospital room.
Oh.
What on earth are you saying? Of course I didn't know that. How could I have?
Because you organized the original Nonary game. That was an exact replica of this Nonary game.
Really?
Yes, yes.
Pleading was not something they'd heard from Ace before. Junpei pulled the piece of wax from his ear, glanced at it, and flicked it off into the darkness.
Oh well, that's cool. I've still got 2 more pieces of evidence that say you're the killer.
That's the thing. Thank God Clover mentioned to us that the Nonary game happened, like, before. Because I'm pretty sure she mentioned that it happened on, like, the Gigantic, or at least on a ship, or someone mentioned that. I know someone did. And it's probably happened here. This is a recreation. That's pretty obvious.
The second is that, as I said earlier, you have prosopagnosia.
Then you mean to imply that a person who can't distinguish human faces must be a bad person?
Oh my god, what an SJW. Jesus Christ, Ace.
Junpei, they call that prejudice.
No, I am not that stupid.
Then why?
Well, before I explain, I suppose there's something I should tell you. The corpse in the shower room.
It's not Snake.
It's not Snake's.
What?
Ace's face went pale. The others looked confused as well. If the body wasn't Snake's...
I didn't put it together right away, but there was something Clover told me. She said that Snake's left arm was prosthetic. He'd lost his real arm in an accident, but the body we saw in the shower room, let's call him Guy X. Guy X's left arm was definitely flesh and blood.
Boom.
In other words, Guy X couldn't possibly have been Snake.
Oh, Ace.
Oh god. No. That's impossible.
And that little reaction right there is the most insinuating, like, oh god, no. Oh god, they're gonna find out. Oh no. Ace had started muttering deliriously to himself, shaking his head back and forth. Junpei was long past caring.
Let's say, hypothetically, that the killer didn't have prosopagnosia. If that were the case, he would immediately realize that Guy X wasn't Snake.
Yep.
Even if the clothes were the same as Snake's, their faces would be completely different. It would have been obvious they were different people. And yet, they still killed him.
Because prosopagnosia.
Why? Why would they kill a stranger who'd only just shown up? On the other hand, if the killer did have prosopagnosia, it makes sense. They thought Guy X was Snake and killed him.
Wait. Wait just a moment. Let's say you're right. And I mistook Guy X for Snake. Even if I did, I would have had no motive to kill him.
Well, let's just say that thing in the safe.
Why would I want to kill Snake?
I can think of at least two motives. One, Snake knew about your past. If he ever revealed what he knew, that would have been really bad for you. You really didn't want that to happen.
Exactly.
So to make sure Snake's mouth stayed shut, you killed him. Two, Snake had a grudge against you. You knew that. Or at least you could have easily assumed he did.
Well, given that you organized the first Nonary game, I'm just...
Even without exposing your identity, he was a threat to you. You never knew when you might be attacked. You couldn't ever let your guard down. Every moment was a moment he might try something. You didn't want that kind of danger hanging over you.
Hey, hold on a minute.
For the first time since the beginning of Junpei's explanation, someone besides Ace spoke.
What's the past that Ace wouldn't want us to know?
Oh, find out. Let's just go to a freaking history lesson now, right? Santa, yes, let's find
Why
out.
did Snake have a grudge against him?
Look at this.
Oh. He handed Santa a small piece of paper.
What's this piece of paper?
Thing from the safe.
The Nonary Game was played once before 9 years ago. The person with the number 2 bracelet attended the game 9 years ago. It was planned by the following 4 people. Cradle Pharmaceuticals CEO Gentaro Hongo. What
Yep.
is this?
Slowly, Santa looked up from the paper. His eyes met Junpei's.
It's the message from Zero. It was in the safe in the first class cabin.
Then suddenly,
Give me a break!
Ace's face was red and shaking, and his voice was full of fury tinged with desperation.
That paper is a lie! Someone is trying to frame me!
Me. You said me, right?
He's just admitted that he's Gentaro Hongo. Or whatever, Hongo. Oh no. Junpei's eyes narrowed and the trap began to close. Ace inhaled sharply. His eyes flicked off of Junpei to something, anything else.
Wouldn't that mean you're admitting you're Hongo, the CEO of Cradle Pharmaceuticals?
There we go.
Or am I mistaken?
It was as though a switch had been flipped. The color drained from Ace's face as he realized what he'd done. His eyes went wide.
Very well. I admit that much. I am certainly the CEO of Cradle Pharmaceutical, Gentaro Hongo. So what if I am?
Well, Gentaro Hongo, you organized the last Nonary game, bitch.
I don't know anything about this Nonary game that supposedly took place 9 years ago.
Liar.
Everything on that scrap of paper is bullshit. Someone is trying to set me up, you see? First of all...
Ace stammered as he tried desperately to work himself into a more tenable position.
Junpei, you're claiming I did this all by myself. Think that over, all right? How could I have killed Snake all by myself?
Not Snake.
I don't care who it was. You said the killer put this other man into door 3, right?
Yeah, maybe.
Oh. Assuming, and this is important, assuming that this guy, Guy X, had the bracelet, number 2, and assuming that Ace was the one that took the number 9 bracelet, 9 plus 2 is 11, plus his 1 is 3, as in the digital root is 3. Oh, you little bitch.
Then I couldn't have possibly done that alone. I couldn't have opened door 3 with only myself and Guy X.
Nope, you could have.
Huh?
Huh?
What?
Ace's face was tight and his teeth were clenched. Junpei fixed him with a level stare. The trap was about to close.
Actually, Ace, when you were unconscious, I took something from you.
What?
Remember when you were injected with that anesthetic and fell asleep in the big hospital room?
Oh.
Yeah, back then, I took this.
Junpei put his hand into his pocket.
No! You couldn't have!
He just lied. He lied. Junpei just played him. Ace's right hand moved. Junpei smiled.
I got you, Ace. Your right hand there tells me all I needed to know. You want to tell me what you were so worried about? What's in your pocket? It's the number 9 bracelet, isn't it?
Ha!
Ace, Guy X, and the 9th man's bracelet. That was all you needed to open door 3.
1 plus 2 plus 9 equals 12. 1 plus 2 equals 3.
That's how you killed Guy X all by yourself, Ace. All you needed was the number 9 bracelet in your chest pocket.
Ace lowered his hand from where it had stopped halfway to his pocket. He looked down at the floor, his face hidden from Junpei. He's the killer. Can't believe it. All he could see was the corner of Ace's mouth twitching like a dying fish. Now that we know Ace is the bad guy here, like, all of his actions just make so much more sense now. Jeez.
If you want to play innocent, that's fine by me. Go ahead. Tell me. I don't have the bracelet, if that's what you want to do. But if you could take off your coat and hand it to me, I'd really appreciate it. Otherwise, we'll have to take it from you by force. Right, 7?
Ooh.
Yeah, it'd be my pleasure.
Although Ace probably still has a knife hidden in his coat, so be careful, guys. 7 cracked his knuckles with a sound like gunfire. Let me just check something. I want to check how far I am on the flowchart. Oh, we still got 2 more bits to go. Oh boy. Fun. And so he cracks. He's the fucking Mikan of Zero Escape at this point. Jesus Christ. Ace roared with laughter. He threw his arms wide and his head back and laughed, filling the room with a sound that scarcely belonged there. Then it stopped. His arms came down and his head dropped to look straight ahead at Junpei. Oh, fuck no. His face was flat and cold, devoid of any what the fuck?
Well done, Junpei. As you so correctly deduced, I have the number 9 bracelet.
And so, everything just gets really uncomfortable.
I retrieved it while we were searching for the missing hardware for the Red. I left the room I was supposed to search and headed to the first-class cabin on B-deck.
His voice showed no emotion, no sense of remorse or interest. It was almost bored, as though he were reciting an especially dull corporate letter.
My purpose was to obtain the number 9 bracelet. 9 is a potent ally in the Nonary Game. Adding 9 to any set of numbers won't alter the digital root.
Ah. That's true. Yeah.
As you can see, 9 is a very useful number here.
God damn, and the 9 guy died straight away.
With it, one can go anywhere, with anyone. It is, I suppose you could say, a game changer.
And as he said that, Jeff Probst of Survivor CBS is screaming in the background.
So I made for the first-class cabin to obtain it. In mere moments,
Yep.
I successfully acquired the number 9 bracelet.
And thus had all the power.
There was also an unexpected bonus. The knife the 9th man had used.
Oh, that's where the knife came from. That makes so much more sense now. I've been wondering where the hell that knife came from for ages.
I quickly pocketed both of them and left. I made my way back to where I was expected to be. That's when I ran into Snake. Well, this guy X, actually. I spotted him ahead of me. He was heading for the large hospital room and hadn't noticed me.
Okay.
The man wearing Snake's clothes arrived at door 3. When he stopped, I walked up behind him and called out, "Snake." He turned around.
Whoa, who is that?
He said nothing. His mouth simply hung half open.
That is not Snake.
He seemed dazed somehow, almost like a man half asleep. Perhaps he had been drugged. It wasn't important. I tend to gloss over little things like that.
Yeah.
I was certain that man was Snake. I knew Snake had taken part in the Nonary Game 9 years ago. Being blind, it made sense that he didn't recognize me immediately upon our first meeting. But why then hadn't Snake said anything to me later? Surely he hadn't forgotten what had happened to him in the Nonary Game.
No. This is an interesting development, honestly.
But not once did he attempt to confront me. Did his lack of sight prevent him from fully recognizing who I was? Or perhaps Snake had conspired with Zero to deceive me? Regardless, he was a threat, and it was better to deal with him sooner rather than later.
And that's why we don't get much Snake in this game, which is really sad, because I really like Snake as a character.
I had to get rid of him before he took action. With quick thinking, my plan went into motion immediately. I held the number 9 bracelet over the red. I waved my own bracelet in front of the red, and then grabbed Snake's arm and shoved his hand against the scanner panel. The door opened. I threw the man through it.
And he is dead.
9 seconds later, the door shut. 81 seconds passed.
And that's what happened. The man inside the door passed away.
After that, I returned to my post as though nothing had happened. After conducting my own search, I returned to the large hospital room when the 1 a.m. bell rang.
Ace's eyes were cold and his cheeks were hollow and pallid. When he spoke, only his lips and tongue moved. The rest of his face was eerily still. Junpei glared at Ace. He took a deep breath and thought about the next question he had to ask. He didn't want to. He knew what the answer would be. He just didn't want to hear it. Junpei swallowed, then spoke.
Ace, did you kill Clover?
Yes.
Thanks for telling us that, Ace. Now you can go.
Why? Why did you kill her?
She was Snake's sister. It was possible he had told her something dangerous. Additionally, she had gone through door 1. It seemed likely she might have found it.
Found what?
Why don't you go through door 1 yourself?
No, I'd rather stay here.
Perhaps it's hidden somewhere.
Seven and Lotus interrupted.
Yeah, but Lotus and I went through door 1 too.
We didn't see anything suspicious.
Yes. I thought as much after I heard your report at the central stairs. I doubt the 2 of you could find it.
The Zero bracelet, maybe?
Huh?
But perhaps Clover was different.
Oh?
Perhaps she had found it. I was, therefore, desperate to find her.
What is it?
And at last I did, in the first-class cabin. I spoke very calmly. Did you see it?
See what?
Don't act as if you don't understand. You were in the captain's quarters, weren't you?
Oh.
Uh-huh. What are you talking about?
Very well. By the way, what are you doing here, Clover?
Oh. Creepy.
What? Nothing.
There's blood on your shoes. It looks fresh. Did you go take a look at the 9th man's corpse? I see. Your silence suggests that you noticed. You saw something, didn't you? You saw that his bracelet was gone.
No!
Clover ran. She made for the exit, but Ace stood in her way. Oh no.
You weren't going anywhere.
He caught her by the collar as she passed and threw her to the floor hard.
You're staying here.
No!
She leapt back up and darted past him into the hallway. Ace followed at a run.
Don't you run, little girl.
He was faster. Yep. And that's what happened. Creepy.
That was how I killed Clover.
His face hadn't changed. If he felt guilt or remorse or anything one might feel after taking the life of another human being, it didn't show.
You son of a bitch!
Seven's whole body trembled with rage and his voice rumbled with hate. Santa's eyes were bloodthirsty and Lotus and June's faces were distorted by anger and hatred. Ace looked at them and smiled. It was a cold, cruel thing with no humor on it. Santa must be pissed as well. According to Clover in the last timeline, he was in the experiment for the Nonary Game, so, because of the four-leaf clover thing, so he must be really pissed at Ace. He shook his head and sighed, and Lotus would be pissed as well. She had her kids kidnapped by this guy.
I admit it. I've lost. I have lost. Completely and utterly. Don't misunderstand, Junpei. I didn't lose to you.
Yes, she did.
I lost to Zero. Not you.
No, you lost to me.
I'm rather disgusted with myself for falling into such a simple trap. I looked the fool. And it was a trap. Make no mistake. I was trapped and manipulated by Zero.
And me. I just tricked you into revealing yourself, so can you just give me some credit, please?
The man I killed in the shower room? If he wasn't Snake, then I have no idea who he was. But he was wearing Snake's clothes. And that was no coincidence.
Oh yeah, that must have been Zero who set that up, and... Okay, yeah, I see where he's coming from now.
He had also been injected with something that reduced his cognition, and prevented him from identifying himself or resisting me.
Soparol?
And we can't forget the components that were removed from the red before we arrived.
Yeah, this was set up to fuck him over.
I have no doubt that Zero planned all of this.
All of this.
Zero made sure I would kill that man. It follows, of course, that Zero knew everything I would do. That I would try to take the number 9 bracelet. That I would try to kill Snake. Everything.
Damn. Suddenly, Junpei remembered the paper he found in the safe. He remembered the last words Zero had written on it. Yep. I must punish them. For the innocent lives they sacrificed. This is the only warning they will receive. That in innocent souls might be saved, I now state the truth. Zero. And he remembered other words, words he'd heard from Clover.
I think Zero is one of us.
Well, Zero is an ace, so it would have to be someone else.
Huh?
One by one, Junpei looked at the 5 people standing in front of him. It's Santa. Probably. Santa's got the most to gain from doing this.
Zero is one of us? No. Wait, there's one more person.
Oh?
Snake.
Right, he's not here
the man
yet.
who died in the shower room isn't Snake. That means he's almost certainly still alive.
Somewhere.
Maybe Snake is Zero. Maybe he made Guy X wear his clothes so that we'd all think he was dead.
It seems like a bit of a stretch, like too obvious.
Where's Snake now? What if he's off somewhere laughing at us? If he is Zero, he must have been lying to us about everything else. Is he watching us?
He wouldn't risk letting Clover die. It's not Snake. He wouldn't risk Clover's death to reveal a killer. Clover clearly didn't know.
Well, I believe I've finished with my confession. Why don't we get moving?
Oh. He sounded as if he just finished doing nothing more exciting than describing the weather. For Santa, it was the last straw.
What the hell is this shit?
And with that, guys, I'm going to be ending this episode. If you enjoyed this episode of 999, feel free to leave a like, comment, and subscribe. Don't forget to upvote if you're watching on VidMe. And if you want to play the Nonary game for yourself, then check down below and see how many views that this video has. And then find out the digital root of that number. And that is going to be your person in this game. So, thank you so much for watching, guys. I'll see you next time. Goodbye.